Namhlanje sizobe sibhekene nomkhakha wezomthetho. Soke sesokuvakashela uSamantha Ngcolomba eseRivonia ukuze asazise kabanzi ngebhizinisi lakhe.
So until I reach my goal, there's nothing that will stop me for as long as I'm alive and able.
Siphinde sihlangabezane no Melvin Naidu ophethe ibhizinisi labameli eliseHoughton.
I mean, that's proven a challenge, proven to be a challenge from day one. Still a challenge 3 years on.
Would I trust a student who comes straight out of school?
Not really.
Provided if the person is competent, the person has the self-confidence to defend me, I will.
Absolutely no, because I believe lawyers are liars.
No, not just on their own.
ENingizimu Afrika kunamalunga amabili wabameli abasebenzisana nezinhlobonhlobo yemthetho bese kuba khona abameli abasebenzisana nezinkantolo. Lo mkhakha uphethwe yi-Attorneys Act ya-1979. Leyo yi-Act number 53 yaka-1979.
If we learn law and the lawyers learn the right system, they would impact people's lives and make a difference in our country.
Ukusungulwa kwentando yeningi sekwandise isibalo sabameli abansundu, kakhulukazi kwabantu besimame.
I would encourage my younger sisters, actually, my younger brothers, to actually consider this industry because, yeah, it is growing.
Abameli abaqeqeshiwe bengasebenza kuzinkampani zomthetho ezinkulu noma beziqalele ezabo futhi bekwazi ukubambisana nabanye abakuwona lo mkhakha.
I'm not quite familiar with the whole procedures as to how to start a law firm.
Izigaba zokusungula inkampani yomthetho eNingizimu Afrika idinga lokhu. Ukucela incwadi e-Law Society ezoba isiqiniseko sokuthi ungumeli obhalisiwe. Uhambisa incwadi yasebhange noma istatimende esasebhange esobe isiqinisekiso sokuthi une-account ethembekile. Ugcwalisa isicelo seform ukuze uthole isitifiketi se-Fidelity Fund. Kuvunyelwe iform ekuwuyo ngqo kuphela.
Umkhakha wabameli omunye konomqhudelwano komkhulu-ke la kuleli lakithi. Often people would prefer well-established and experienced firms to handle their legal matters, yet they are not prepared to pay huge fees. Lokhu-ke kuvula-ke igebe lokuthi-ke la mankampani la mancane kasafufusa angazingenela-ke kuwona-ke lo mkhakha. Njengamanje-ke la ku-Making Moves singena kuyona-ke le nkundla le sikulethelwa somabhizinisi abenza izinto zenzeke. Nangu oqala wabo.
My name is Samantha Ngcolomba. I was born in Bulawayo, and that's where I was raised. Life growing up was quite intense, but also quite nice. I'm the first child of 3 children. I have a little sister and a little brother, and I'm also then the first grandchild from 9 grandchildren.
She was just a big sister to us, as in like, I'll go to her to talk about stuff, and she was always there for me. That's how she was. She's a people's person, so you can talk to her about anything.
After high school, I think I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then the law came up. So in pursuing where to study the law, and then Dad was like, oh wow, you wanted to study law? I just got an acceptance from UCT. And then he was like, why don't you just then take it up? And that's kind of how the South Africa journey started, but it was really many, many years ago. For me, a good time is spending time at home, either with my husband, mostly with him, or with cousins or aunts. So we do like dinners and braais and that sort of thing, but I also love to travel. So any opportunity we have, we travel either around South Africa or actually leave the country and just see new places, meet new people, experience different cultures, new food and that sort of thing. We've arrived at a place called Rockfit. It's in Cromerville, and this is where I'm going to attempt to go wall climbing for the very first time. So yeah, we're going to do it together, have lots of fun. Let's see how it goes. I don't know, I'm not nervous, a little bit, and I'm more excited. So yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm excited. I can't wait.
All right, I'm going to assist you guys because seeing that this is your first time, put your carabiner. Okay, make sure you're locked. And your job is to use the grips on the wall. Okay, only use your hands and feet. Do not hold the rope with your hands. Okay, when you get to the top, touch the red sling. And then you tell me when you're ready to come down.
She's very strong. She can handle anything.
I'm feeling pretty strong right now, so horrible time to ask me about weaknesses. I'm very impatient, and I struggle a bit with time management. I know I have a lot more, but right now those are the only ones that I can think of. But yeah. Go, go. Nice, Gaga. Yay!
Usomabhizinisi engizohlangana naye igama lakhe uSamantha. Yena unenkampani yabameli esiza abantu ngama-immigration issues. Usebenzela kulona ke leli bhilidi elila eceleni kwami. Ake ngene ngaphakathi sixoxisane ngezebhizinisi. Lenkampani ngizwa ukuthiwa ifocus kakhulu ke ekusizeni abantu ke ngama-immigration issues.
Yebo.
Awuchaze kabanzi ke la ngoba phela ke umqondo wami usungathi uyadideka kancane.
Okay. Basically i-company yakhona ndisebenza nge-areas ezintathu. Okokuqala yi-cross-border transactions. Xa kubakho i-business efuna ukwenza umsebenzi apha eSouth Africa okanye i-business yase-South Africa efuna ukwenza i-business outside, it's mostly been eSouthern Africa. So boBotswana, Zimbabwe, into ezinjana, ndibancedisa ngoku-understand imithetho yakwaleli lizwe okanye imithetho yase-South Africa xa befuna ukungena apha. So ki-immigration ingena apho. Sometimes there'll be a client ezawuthi bane-clients, mhlawumbe bane-employees ezingena ama-permits, and maybe kune project that they have to bring them in the country for. So ndibancedise ke nge-work permits. Okwesibini ndincedisa i-small businesses. As a small business myself, sendabona ukuba it's very demanding and abana access to illegal services, and xa ikhona they can't really afford it because basaqala. So what I've done is ndibenzele i-packages ezizokuba offerisha i-basic services like understanding your contracts abazidraftayo, your contracts abazifumanayo before they sign.
Yeah, we have to do the background analytics for the bigger picture because we want to use that information.
Then we can help you with like the resolution process where we can mediate on your behalf, but we can't mediate if we've advised you. And then get the last area is CSI. Yes, ndingene kwi-CSI business because I'm passionate ngabantu besifazane. Ndenza umsebenzi for women and children. So what I've done is corporates, I'm sure uyayazi ngomthetho, they're obliged ukufaka a percentage of i-profits zabo into the community. So mina ndingu middleman between imali yabo and actually making sure i-recipients zayifumana.
Lo msebenzi mningi kakhulu ke for umuntu wedwa. Ngabe khona abanye abantu baqashayo noma you handle yonke into wethu?
Unfortunately, xa usaqala, which is what I've seen from my experience, imali ayikho consistent. Sometimes ibe khona, sometimes ingabi khona. So the problem is bengafuna ukusayinisa umuntu i-employment contract, ndimane ndine-stress uba this month andibhatalwanga ndizombhatala kanjani lo mntu. So ndibethe kancane nge-strategy. So ndine-networking relationships with ezinye firms ezenza similar work. Xa sendi-overwhelmed, I pass it on and then banike a fee for like that referral. And I also have someone ondinceda nge-admin, ndimbiza on days when it's very hectic.
Imithetho iyashintsha nezinto zesishintshe esikhathini esiphila kuzona.
Kakhulu.
Khona ke nalomthetho omusha ke lo usukhishiwe owabona uma khuluma ngale zinto ze-immigration.
Kakhulu.
Wena ku-affecta kanjani ibhizinisi lakho lo mthetho?
I-Home Affairs iqashe in e-agent. So i-applications abasasifuni ubona directly, we have to go through the agent. But u-agent akasifuni, ufuna is client. So what's happening is that i-clients can still come as a consultant, siba prepare the process yakhona, do the documents, siba advise, bathina, and then on the day of submission, the client ibe khona ke pha. I think bafuna ukwenza ne-fingerprints into njalo, but ba interview the client face to face.
Wathola kanjani ke ama-client? Uwagcina kanjani ke futhi nama-client? Because ngokwesami ke emqondweni kusho ukuthi musuqedile ukusiza
bahamba bendiwathola nge-word of mouth. Mangiqeda ukwenza umsebenzi for inkampani okanye umuntu akwazi ukuyathi hayi xa ufuna uncedo ngalento fonela ikampani ethiwa ngu-NNA bafonele and bancede kanjalo. But ndisa-worker out i-marketing campaigns wenzela uba mhlawumbe ningene nami ku-internet sendizama ne-social networks andikho good ke apho, but ndiyazama because I've realized that it's easy, information iyaspread nje naturally by itself.
Isikhathi sakho simaneja kanjani ukuthi ke noma umile komafezi izinto zingahambi ibishelele kakhulu ibhizinisi nalalimi ukuthi ezinye izinto nazo ziyaqhubeka ziyenzeka ukumaneja kanjani konke lokho?
While I'm there ndenze wethu into ezincane like i-admin, ndithumela ama-email, ndifonela abantu, so I try uku-multitask as well, ndingamoshi ixesha.
Yeah, ake sithi ukhulume nge-Home Affairs ngicela nami ukuhamba nawe ngibone yonke iprocess eyenzakalayo masilapha.
No problem Masambe, in fact you'll keep me company ngisalindile pha.
Samantha, sesifikile ke Home Affairs yaseGermiston. Take me through the process yento ezokenzakala mawla.
I-process iqala apha ngaphandle, as you can see, yeah.
Kulesihlalo
lapha, yeah. So abantu balinda apho kube ne-queue from early in the morning, and then siyangeniswa ke ngaphakathi. Xa ufika phakathi ukhona enye indawo izitulo nama-bench, and then from there sebeninceda ke one by one.
Yeah. So into ezoyenza namhlanje la ngaphakathi zokwenzani ke?
Namhla kunama-applications engawafaka, so kunesikhathi esidlulileyo and anikeza i-feedback yakhona. So ngifuna ukungena ngiphethe nama-receipts wakhona bangicheckele ku-system ukuthi uhamba kanjani, so that ngizanika i-feedback ku-clients zami.
Alrighty.
And then sizawuhamba ke thina ndibonise uba ngenzani, and then ngizaku-explain nakuchazela ngaphakathi, and then we can come out again.
Alright ke.
Okay.
Lead the way siswa.
Bongile Masambe ke.
Ake Samantha, ngibonile yonke le process lapha ngaphakathi from amalayini to yonke into enzakala step by step, ukuchecka izinto, ukulinda ama documents ukuthi bawa verify, ba check ukuthi izinto sezibuyile, zikhona, ready. That is, you know what, a lot of work, and today phela sishaya ama shortcut because bengagcwalanga kakhulu.
Yeah, bengagcwalanga bisinenhlanhla actually.
Yeah. I've learned a lot about your industry and what you do as well. Ngoba manje ke umsebenzi bathi ke kwena usaqhubeka ke, mina ke sengiyozilungiselela ukuya ekhaya ke, bathi ke khumbula sizohlangana e-studio ke la khona kwahamba lapho saqhubeka khona ne-making moves.
Sizohlangana. Thank you so much for taking the time to get to know me and the business, and I appreciate it as well.
Ake sirahe sikhambele naga yethu.
All right, Masambe ke.
Firstly, you're on your own. You are the sole owner of the business. You are the marketer. You are the legal person. You do everything. How do you manage that?
Ooh.
Siphinde sikwamukele. uSamantha umphathi we-NNA Attorneys usestudio sethu njengamanje uxoxisana noPips ngokuthi yini emgqugquzelayo uma kuza kwezamabhizinisi. Baphinde ke futhi badingide nodaba lokuthi ibhizinisi lakhe ulibona likhula liba kuphi ke mafushane nje. Baphinde futhi baxoxisane nangama-challenges abhekana nawo.
Samantha, welcome once again to Making Moves.
Thank you.
Thanks for making time to come share your story.
Thank you for having me.
What is the long-term vision?
The long-term vision is to have an empire, yes, dare I use that word, that will house a group of passionate individuals with a legal background, because that's primarily the business, however, with the goal of touching as many lives as possible and crossing many African borders. So the theme will be the law, however, we aim to empower using the law. So yeah, I just see this building in my head, it's white. And yeah, has NNA outside, and that's where we're going to run the ship from.
So why are you going to succeed?
Why am I going to succeed? Because I believe it's where I'm meant to be. I believe it's my calling. I believe it's the space that God wants me to be. And it's actually something that's proven itself over time. I've tried the corporate route, and it worked for some time.
And after a while, I just felt that I wasn't where I should have been. And lots of doors even closed because I just kept trying to open and get into a space that I primarily believe I wasn't supposed to be in. So I'm going to succeed firstly because I think it's where I'm meant to be, but also I think I'm very hardworking and I've had to overcome lots of circumstances to get to where I am. So it's made me a lot more resilient to the challenges that I face on a day-to-day basis running a business. So until I reach my goal, there's nothing that'll stop me for as long as I'm alive and able.
Firstly, you're on your own. You are the sole owner of the business. You are the marketer. You are the legal person. You do everything. How do you manage that?
It's a little bit challenging from time to time, but I've had to come up with a few strategies. So when it comes to the actual provision of the legal services, I have a team of networking partners around South Africa, also across other African countries. So it helps in the sense of delivery. So when I need to deliver certain work, then I pull on them as an extra resource. But then recently I have added someone onto the team, which is so exciting, first employee. So she's helping a lot with the admin, which was taking so much of my time. But luckily she's also like a law graduate and it's the path that she wants to follow. So she's also getting her hands dirty with the legal side of things.
Are you profitable?
At the moment, no. I'm barely breaking even. However, I've realized over the last couple of months that what's been happening is that I'll get a contract, say, with a wonderful institution, which I've been trying to get my foot into. However, from the onset, more often than not, it's not exactly what I'm looking for in terms of how much I'm going to make out of it. So I've had to somewhat think outside the box and see right now, is it really about the money or where I'm at in the business and seeing the overall strategy and where it's going to take me to. So I've had to balance the financial benefit right now versus the long-term benefit of just getting my hands dirty, gaining more experience and exposure, building the networks and that sort of thing. So the money right now isn't where I want it to be, but I believe I'm making strides towards that.
But let's talk about the small business specific challenges.
Ooh. Okay, small businesses don't want to pay. That's the greatest challenge that I've found. And for some of them, I can understand, I am sitting here telling you that sometimes the finances don't look so good. So when you sit and weigh up what you need to pay for, you probably put the legal skills at the end and you think, oh, I can Google, I can get some templates and do it myself, which for most people is a huge mistake because there's lots of fine print and legalese that sometimes people just don't understand. So I can understand not wanting to pay if you can't afford it, but there are businesses who are making money, however, just don't really prioritize the need for legal services. And then they only come to you when they need you and they're in trouble, so you do damage control. So the biggest challenge are just the payments and chasing them. And sometimes I spend so much time chasing them that it costs me a lot more than what I'm trying to get back from them. So there I'm restructuring a bit. It's just not really working out as I planned. So I'm trying to instill more preventative measures than damage control.
And just the challenges that you face as a small business.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest one was time management at first. I've had to significantly shift. You go to like workshops and you speak to people who are really successful and they tell you they start their day at 5 or 4. I just think that was so ridiculous and I was just like, no way, I'm sleeping. But now you almost just can't help it. Your brain is just always active, you're always busy, you're thinking what you need to do, what haven't you done. So I've had to start my day much, much earlier and fit in exercise, fit in family time, fit in a little bit of me time, which hasn't happened lately, and then also plan and be as strategic as possible as to how to fulfill my daily tasks. So time management was a big one, but I'm getting to grips with that, and that's quite exciting because I can actually feel the difference. I'm running things much smoother. The other challenge that I'm facing right now is I need to grow my team because the work is growing. But even though the work is growing, the finances aren't yet consistent and stable enough for me to see that I'll give someone a contract of employment that I actually can honor. And I don't want to ever be faced with, sorry, I have to let you go. So I'm still holding back a little bit on that and seeing how to go about it. So I'm considering funding, and other channels, but I've kind of been functioning debt-free and I've been a little bit hesitant to go that route. But I mean, to get to the next level, I suppose it's something I'll have to seriously consider.
Because we're all about improving your business and supporting entrepreneurs, I'm going to send you off for a coaching session where you'll chat to a coach, talk about your business, and maybe get a few insights on how you can be better as an entrepreneur. And then we'll chat afterwards, and you can tell me how the coaching session has shifted your thinking.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Samantha's now going to meet with Advocate Charles Magaiza from Purpose Clinic for a coaching session on how to deal with some of the challenges affecting her business. We'll catch up with them later for feedback. For the rest of us, let's check out our weekly wisdom nuggets.
Business is a different kind of animals. You have to do things yourselves. You have to put an effort behind it. You have to spend a sleepless night doing all the things, all the planning, all the kind of work. Don't just come in the morning and come out and knock off in the afternoon. You have to work and use your brains. But again, you must still improve your studies. The space in which you're operating, you must always make sure that you've got enough knowledge to understand that kind of business.
Please just elaborate on some of the services that you guys are talking about here.
On my side, basically, is to protect the inventions of people, that's more patents. Also provide advisory on the inventions, how they'll be commercialized.
There's not many people who can actually do IP law.
Siphinde sikwamukele. Thina lana kwa making moves sikholelwa ukuthi alikho iphupho elikhulu kakhulu elingeke lifezeke. Uma ngabe kuyisifiso sakho leso sokuthi ufeze lokho okudingayo uzokwenza kwenzeke. Njengamanje ke sibheka somabhizinisi wethu ke wesibili. Igama lakhe uMelvin Naidu. Inkampani yakhe ibizwa ngokuthiwa iNaidu NNA Attorneys. Yena ke ngihlangane naye saxoxisana ngebhizinisi lakhe.
Hi, my name is Melvin Naidu. I live here in Windyward in Esprit Estate. I'm originally from Pretoria, from Bonngoe. Moved here a couple years ago, and yeah, this is where I live. This is Odilia Pillay. This is my girlfriend.
I've known Melvin all my life, basically. Our families grew up with each other, well, opposite each other. And yeah, as a result, we grew up as friends, and I think in his first year, that's when we actually started dating, first year of varsity.
Growing up, the people that I was always most close to were my parents and my brothers, and even now, till today, we're still extremely close. You know, myself and my younger brother, we're very close in age. We're like a year and a couple months apart, so we were constantly like, you know, we would fight with each other often. This is my good buddy, Jean Ewang. We used to work together at Eversheds about 5 years ago at my previous law firm.
He's a very dependable person. He's a good friend. He cares about his friends. He's just easy to be around, very funny, easy to talk to, very well read. So it's easy to be friends with Melvin. I once ran out of petrol. It's in the heyday of us doing articles, and I was stuck somewhere, and it was like knocking off time. Everyone had gone home, and I called Melvin, and he came, like, without question, no stories. He just was there. So he's very dependable as a person.
The hardest times I had growing up was, like I said, you know, we came here quite early before the Group Areas Act had been completely abolished. So a lot of like non-whites weren't really very embraced in this type of neighborhoods.
That's out, right?
I think one of the earliest incidents of racism that I ever faced was when myself and my younger brother, we were playing outside. We were about 5 or 6 years. I was about 6, he was probably about 5. We were playing pop-ups outside, and, you know, just making like a whole bunch of noise. And then the next door neighbor started like, you know, giving us a hard time about it. I mean, it wasn't very loud noise or whatever it was. So then he got into a massive fight with my mother, and he told us that we should like move out of this place, we don't belong here, and that type of thing. So the cops came, and you know, they didn't really do much about it. It was just weird because we didn't really know, we were so young, we didn't really have this concept of things. And I guess after that, I always made a promise to myself that I'd never treat any group of people the same without first knowing who they were. So yeah, I mean, that really changed my perceptions about people.
ukuthi la ngizohlangana nosomabhizinisi wethu wanamhlanje insizwe nenkampani yabameli isebenzela la emva kwami. Ake ngene la ngaphakathi soxoxisana ngezamabhizinisi.
Gentlemen, how are you, man? Good.
Mr. Siya.
Melvin, how you doing?
All right, and yourself, sir?
I'm good. You're calling me miss?
I know that you run the business, but I also heard about him as well. Could you just do a quick introduction?
Okay, go for it today.
Okay, my name is Tulimbata. I've joined the firm as a director also in the firm. It's been a month now since I've joined the firm.
You joining as a director, how did that come about?
Basically, we were working together. I was in another firm, and then we were working together in association, and then we decided we can collaborate and actually use our skills together.
Look, on that point, I mean, the whole vision that we had when we started the practice was to try to create, as a diverse set of skill sets as possible.
Because I have a technical and a legal background, so my focus is more on intellectual property, and he's got the corporate and litigation expertise.
And there's not many people who can actually do IP law.
Please just elaborate on some of the services that you guys are talking about here.
On my side, basically, is to protect the inventions of people, that's more patents, also provide advisory on the inventions, how they'll be commercialized, and also other aspects of intellectual property. Provide advice on trademarks, copyright, know-how, how to basically maximize your copyright, how to maximize your trademark, and so that you can get enough royalties, start up companies.
I'm busy, Melvin, where we up to with you? Because clients, you guys are busy as always.
We'll start off at Houghton and then we'll take it from there.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Stuff. I'll give you time to get ready. I'll be outside.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks.
I'll be outside.
Okay, perfect. This is my client, Siya Mdlalose. He's one of my longest running clients, one of my best clients as well. I'm involved in doing various types of litigation for him and commercial acquisitions, that sort of thing. Odds and ends as well. It throws me a few smaller instructions, but that's primarily it. Commercial litigation and acquisition.
What type of business are you in, sir, if you don't mind me asking? Because I'm hearing litigation, I'm hearing commercial, this and that.
We're in the food manufacturing business. We do cheese manufacture at the moment, and we're busy expanding our operations to Natal, and that's how we met Melvin. I needed someone to look over some of my commercial matters and my contracts, and he's been with us ever since.
And how long ago was that? I mean, it sounds like you guys go yonks years back.
It's about 3 years now.
It was about early 2011.
Yes, I was looking for some new blood. I was looking for something new, a new way of thinking, and I had gone through about 15 lawyers until I had met Melvin, and then now, like I said, he really made a good impression the first time, and his work has been impeccable, and since then I've been with him.
Thank you very much, Siya, for your time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure meeting you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Thank you for your time.
Have a good day. Bye.
My name is Michelle Thatcher. The business is called PGR5 Investments. Melvin was introduced to me through a business broker, highly recommended. So essentially it was word of mouth. He concluded the sale of a partnership agreement where we bought our partners out from India, and he facilitated that whole process. His service was excellent. He was very thorough. He was very involved. As the saying goes, you get what you pay for, but not in Melvin's case, because the cost was very reasonable, yet his level of professionalism didn't compromise relative to the cost, so his cost was excellent.
The type of industry you're in, I would presume that you get a client when you have to deal with something, then they'll pay you out money, then what happens? Do you go find another client? How long do you keep your clients? Do you have clients that pay you retainers? Or what's the deal with the client base that you guys have?
It depends on which department you're actually dealing with. Okay. Now, when you're dealing with the people that I deal with, we don't do the whole high client turnover thing. Because any company, no matter how big or small they are, they'll always need an auditor and they'll always need a lawyer. They may not always use one, but they will always need one. You'll need somebody to send out letters of demand to recover money for you. As you get bigger, you'll need to negotiate deals, put in labor contracts, that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? So generally speaking, when you're dealing with commercial work, they tend to stick with you for many, many years and they give you lots of instructions. On the divorce and criminal side, like you said, you then have to market every single month.
So how much would your service go for if I came through here and said, please look at this contract? You know, how do you charge me? Do you charge me per page, per hour? What do you work with?
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I can really tell you what my rate is. I can.
Give me the plus minus figures.
Look, it's for the directors, we all charge approximately 1,250 ex-VAT per hour. But the way it works is that we divide our hour into units of 10. So if I look at your contract for 5 minutes, I'm only going to charge you 125 Rand.
Well, okay.
You see what I'm saying? If I look at it for 3 hours, then I'm actually going to charge you 3,750 Rand or whatever it is. But it depends on how lengthy it is and whatever it is.
Please show me around from where you work from.
Okay.
All right. So this is your office?
Yeah, this is my office. This is where I obviously get all my work done. This is our library. This is the most important tools an attorney can have. Our critical practice,
civil practice, magistrates court.
This high court rules, all of our substantive law textbooks. We sit and read them every day, as you can see.
Gotta always have something to read.
Yeah.
And there's always gotta be paperwork as well. All right, thank you very much for your time. Learned a lot about your industry. Have a good day.
You too.
What's your success rate with public service clients?
It's 0 at this stage.
It is often said that businesses are most likely to encounter numerous losses in their early stages. Akukho lula ukuthi ukwazi ukuheha amakhasimende uma ngabe ibhizinisi lakho liselisha. You will find that your prices are set too high for clients or they are too low and clients do not take you seriously. Kodwa ke uMelvin Naidu usestudio njengamanje uxoxisana noPepsi. Khumbula phela, uMelvin wayekela umsebenzi wakhe ebenawo uze aqale ibhizinisi lakhe.
Melvin, welcome to the Lion's Den, where we have the conversations, sometimes easy, sometimes difficult, about business. But at the end of the day, the objective is to improve your business. Why did you start Naidu Rich Attorneys?
I'm previously from a big sort of Sandton law firm background, and I felt that I wasn't getting enough hands-on time with my matters. So I left, took a year off, went to South Korea, tried to figure my life out. When I came back, I made that decision that if I'm going to come back to this profession, I want to be able to do it properly, I want to be able to do it right, and I want to manage my matters fully without the supervision of a director or whatever it is, because oftentimes because of the size of what we were doing, I wouldn't be fully involved in those types of things. So I wanted to feel what it's like to be a lawyer as opposed to a glorified messenger and that sort of thing.
Could you really do admin in the big law firms?
Well, a lot of what I used to do involved more making copies and driving around and that sort of thing. So I wanted to feel like what it really meant and truly meant to be an attorney.
Jeez, bro, that's a very expensive messenger. So how's that working out?
Yeah, well, look, it's been working out great for us. Look, it was very difficult in the start. I was on my own. I took a shared office somewhere, cheapest rent I could possibly get, and still have the infrastructure, for a law firm, which would require a receptionist, it requires somebody there to receive documents for you and that type of thing, because one of my primary specialties is litigation.
Does being a brilliant attorney make you a good entrepreneur?
No, those things aren't mutually exclusive. The fact of the matter is that being a good attorney means having the knowledge when it comes to the law and how to get your clients out of problems or mitigate their risks or whatever that involves. Whereas being a good businessman involves sitting with auditors, mitigating your tax liability, employing people, managing staff, that sort of thing, managing your overheads, maximizing your output. Those are considerations that you have to have. And not everybody has that sort of either intuition or the training or whatever it is to do both, to be a good businessman and be a good lawyer and drive the growth in your business. Yeah.
Who's your typical client now, and who's your ideal client?
Okay. When it concerns typical clients, it depends on which director you're talking about. Now, if you're looking at myself, I deal with mid-level type of businesses which turn over anything from $1 million to 100 million rand a year. They obviously have ongoing litigation matters. They've got commercial agreements and acquisition documents which need to be drafted. So what I do is I nurture those relationships and continue doing work for those people, and try not to have them release me for whatever reason. Those clients they come from like your middle LSMs, that sort of thing. Here and there you'll have a corporate executive or whatever it is. Sometimes it's a offload from one of my clients who needs a divorce or whatever it is. And we'll do that, but that requires constant turnover from these types of LSMs. And that's again where your internet marketing is strong and it's fruitful, because you're bringing in those types of clients. You're bringing in clients from the public, from those types of private clients, from the public. The main thing here is we want to deal with work in the public sector. That's where we want to see ourselves. I've dealt with commercial clients my entire career, and it's all good protecting them from being sued and trying to get them more money or whatever the situation is. But we want to deal with matters which actually have a sort of effect on this economy, if you understand what I'm saying. We want to deal with the types of matters where you're dealing with rural development projects and that type of thing. We apply for those types of that type of work.
What's your success rate with public service clients?
It's 0 at this stage.
I mean, how many have you pitched and okay, you've won none? How many have you pitched?
Look, I mean, we've gotten onto supply databases, but in terms of actually getting work from those supply databases or panels, we haven't had any luck. And in terms of getting work from the supply databases, we're not seeing any success.
Why do you think that is?
Look, I think part of our problem is that we do apply, and then even with the supply databases, we never really phone or whatever it is to follow up and that type of thing. We don't have relationships with people there, and that obviously inhibits you from getting those instructions. But it's also, you don't want to cross those bounds, because you don't want to create the impression that you're trying to give people kickbacks for work and that type of thing. So we try to take a more passive role. We don't want to be seen as doing anything that's unethical. Again, with the strict regulations of marketing that the Law Society imposes on us, we have to be a little bit more cautious as to how we approach clients, what would be considered as touting or unethical marketing practices, that sort of thing. Also, public sector, they're always on the lookout for people who may be taking bribes or that type of things.
What do you guys have to do differently in order to grow the business? Not that there's anything wrong with the business, but you want to grow. What do you have to do differently?
I don't know. I think the marketing aspect is the biggest thing. I mean, we're going on courses now. We're trying to get back out there again, being more active. But you get that one instruction, and then you have the setback again of how do you balance the marketing with making sure that your clients are getting the services that they need. So that's proven a challenge, proven to be a challenge from day one. Still a challenge 3 years on. You know what I mean?
Bro, I have no doubt that you're going to achieve all those things that you're setting out, and this business will be able to look after yourself and your kids and grow into everything that you want it to be. One of the things we do here at Making Moves is that we hook our entrepreneurs up with a coach, typically from the same industry. And I'm going to send you off for your coaching session, and then I'll chat to you afterwards and find out what insights you gleaned from it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Melvin will meet up with Weli Jabusigu, who's the senior legal advisor at Transnet, for a coaching session. Welcome back. Samantha is now back with Advocate Charles from their coaching session. Sam, you look happy.
I am, and part relieved as well. It was a very insightful and interesting session, and it was interesting to have a chat with someone who's not only in the legal space, but also focuses on the issues that I'm focusing on. So I got better understanding and better clarity within those areas.
So Charles, what are the burning issues, the things that you picked up that need to be addressed immediately?
The issue of funding is always going to be critical for her, for her to be able to grow that business to the next level.
Yeah, she's afraid of debt.
At some point, you have to commit so that you go to the next level. Otherwise, you continue playing on the same platform and never be able to go up.
And any other things that came up?
Networking. She needs to network more to get her business out there so that people know what she's doing and know where she is so that they can give her more business.
You don't strike me as a social animal, so do you prefer to just kind of...
It's amazing that actually comes out because I'm not a social animal, but I've made huge strides because I realized I had to get out there and network quite a bit. So there's lots of seminars, conventions and talks and that sort of thing where I have actually made a few connections. I just probably need to do it a little bit more and then I suppose more in the specific areas that I'm playing in. So yeah, I'm not really an out and about person, but I'm stretching myself, which has been both interesting and challenging at times.
You don't think perhaps, you know, one of the things that might be helpful, I find that with entrepreneurs that are not naturally sociable, get out there, do the lunches and functions, is, you know, getting an opportunity and creating platforms to speak at various seminars, to share your knowledge and your headspace and start to be seen as a bit of an authority in immigration law.
Yeah, that is a great idea. And actually, one of the other challenges that I had with the small businesses specifically is that I was chasing them a little too much. So in my quest to kind of shift that a little bit, I've targeted the incubators. And at one of the incubators, they actually want me to facilitate a course for small businesses within the legal issues that they need to look at. So that's actually a start towards what you're saying, and hopefully it will just kind of grow from there.
Yeah, because I mean, socializing and networking isn't just about attending functions. It could also be speaking at functions.
Yeah.
And you seem quite confident, so maybe speaking to women. And there are a lot of young women out there that need to be inspired and that I think could learn from your story and how you've taken adversity and turned it into a business. And then immediate steps. Now that the show is done, what are you going to do differently in the next few weeks and months?
I think the first one is I just need to go back to the drawing board and actually make my business plan a living document. There's been a lot of changes from when I first put things down together, and I just need to reconceptualize and focus in on the CSI space a bit more. Then I need to come up with a marketing strategy. I just need to market myself better. So I'm developing the website. Currently it's a landing page. So I have it as a fully functional website with say 4 or 5 pages. And then once I have my branding more in a compact package, it's then easier to approach the funders. So those are the 2 focus areas right now. Sort out the branding and then approach the funders.
Okay. Guys, thank you very much. Samantha, for sharing your story. Charles, for sharing your expertise and giving us your time. Thank you both very much.
Thank you for having us.
After the break, we catch up with Melvin to get feedback from his coaching session. We're now joined in the studio with Melvin Naidu together with his lovely coach, Weli Jabusiku, to tell us how the coaching session went. Weli, did I pronounce your surname correctly?
Yes, you did.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I had to work really hard on that. So what did you pick up when you looked at Melvin's business?
Melvin and I actually had a good session. He's got a good head on his shoulders and he's doing quite well in business. His main struggle doesn't seem to be in the legal area. That's his main area and he's doing well there. What I picked up is that he's struggling with marketing. He's trying to take his business into a different type of market to get different type of clientele, and he seems to be struggling a little bit in growing his business.
Should he be focusing on public sector clients? Is that a space that he's going to be successful in, or should he continue pushing commercial work as one side of the business and then kind of more of the individual work, like we said, the family law, the divorces, etc., etc. Is public service the way for him to go?
Definitely. I think any entrepreneur wants to expand and grow to be as big as possible. The public sector is booming right now, especially in the legal field. There's so much going on across our country in the infrastructure space, mining. You definitely want to tap into that type of work because, as well, that's the type of work that pays the fees. You don't want to be confined to the small matters that give you minimal amounts of money. You do ultimately want the big transaction, and I do think that he is wise in trying to spread his wings that far out. Yeah.
What have you learned, or rather, what insights did you glean from the coaching session?
Look, as Willie said, it's all about tapping into that market, the market where, where we had our focus. She's given us a better indication as to how to tap into that market and how to develop ourselves in that market. So, and obtain work from that market. So I can see a clearer path to obtaining that work now than I did prior to the show.
Well, just high level, what's some of the advice you gave in terms of being more successful in the public sector?
Most public sectors, or let me say parastatals, already have in-house legal advisors. That's mainly what I do. He needs to develop relationships with the in-house legal advisors because they are the starting point of where he's going to get his work from. They are the people that give you the instructions. I advise him on, firstly, the importance on getting onto panels. He needs to get onto as many panels as possible. We need people that are going to be quick on the ball, people that can run with our matters and give us good results. The last thing he wants to do is to be able to make it onto the panel and we give him an instruction and he's not able to perform. So he's been in the business for about 3 years and I do promote that he wants to get bigger, but at the same time I did advise that work up on your speciality, on your skills, your knowledge, what you know, build on it, because when you do get onto the panels, it's so easy to get blacklisted. You get one instruction from a parastatal. If you can't perform, you get blacklisted. So you want to be ready by the time you get there. But the biggest thing for him is to be at the face of the people that can give the instructions. And right now, he's not meeting with those people. He's meeting with the wrong people that can't get him there.
So you're going to hook him up?
I'm going to try.
I love the relationships that form on this couch.
Yeah.
And people actually continue their conversations. And I think, businesses are changed here.
Correct.
Guys, thank you for giving us time. I know you bill by the hour, so I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And all the best to you, Melvin.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
I've had an awesome time with our entrepreneurs. This episode has been particularly educational for me. I even learned some legal jargon. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Take care. Until next week, have a fantastic week. SABC 1, Making Moves Mzansi for sure.
My experience on Making Moves was very insightful. It was very interesting and it provided me with some clarity with regards to where I am in the business, where I am personally and what I need to do. And it was also quite nice to be part of a show called Making Moves because it actually did make me feel like, hey, I'm making some sort of move. So it was lovely, thank you.
One of the biggest lessons that I'm taking home with me is that, the steps that I need to effectively make my business more successful, particularly in approaching the type of clients and getting the type of clients that I want to get.